Alright, today we're going to react into some YouTube shorts about conspiracy theories.
The conspiracy theories about the guy who attacked Charlie Kirk are actually insane, because people have just noticed that in this photo of him on his screensaver is a picture of Goat Island, which is located in New Zealand. If you take a look at Goat Island, one of their most prominent lodges there is called Valhalla, and very quickly users remembered that when Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, was giving his speech about Charlie, he mentioned that very same place.
To my friend Charlie Kirk, we have the watch. And I'll see you in Valhalla.
Immediately, this really weird connection caused an uproar on TikTok, and people in the comments are beyond convinced that Tyler is the fall guy and that there is no way that he did this. The conspiracy theory—
Yeah, I don't think he did it. I do think he's a fall guy, and I think there's definitely something more to that whole situation. And I think I saw clips like of Charlie. I watch a lot of Charlie Kirk stuff. I just like watching debates and stuff like that just to learn more from both sides. But I saw him kind of speaking out about the influence of Israel over America and stuff like that more and more, and him questioning if he's been speaking about the right stuff and stuff like that. So I do think they shut him out because he was becoming so influential on college campuses and stuff with young people.
The darkest conspiracy theories ever. The Bob Ross theory. Bob Ross was a famous painter on television. The theory claims that Bob Ross is actually a serial killer. It's because of one of his paintings. It's called Happy Little Accidents, which depicts an exact crime scene where 5 bodies were found. What do you think about this theory? The darkest conspiracy—
I don't really know about that one. I haven't heard anything about that, but you never know. You can never judge people by how they look and stuff like that.
The idea that The Simpsons can predict the future is one of the most popular conspiracy theories in the entire world. From future presidents to the God particle to virus outbreaks, they seem to have an episode for everything.
I do think The Simpsons, well, a lot of TV shows do the whole predictive programming. Like they'll show glimpses of stuff that's going to happen in the future, even if it's like next year, 5 years from now, just to psychologically get people ready.
Another one of the most famous
and I feel like they like bragging about certain stuff.
Conspiracy theories is that the moon landing was faked, even though we have photo evidence, witnesses, and moon rocks right here on Earth.
The moon landing, I do think that was fake. And I don't think it's a coincidence about the whole Neil Armstrong, like Neil and then the A from his last name spelling alien. I just don't think that's a coincidence. And like recently how they went around the moon, I don't see why we wouldn't just go ahead and visit there. I know it costs more money and time and stuff like that, but doing a flyby just makes no sense to me.
20 to 30% of Americans currently believe that Area 51 is housing aliens or alien technology. Another
Area 51, I think that's the government working with aliens. I don't think they have them like captive and stuff like that. I think most aliens are probably bad, and I think they work with the government, give them technology for people to do experiments on. It's like a trade-off type thing. That's what I think.
Another huge one is that airplanes are used to spray toxic chemicals into the atmosphere for the purpose of sterilization, reduction of life expectancy, mind control, or weather control, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because the people spraying the chemicals would still have to breathe the chemicals just like the rest of us.
I think there's some truth to that. I remember seeing a YouTube short or a clip of Prince, the singer, talking about how people in the neighborhood would be happy and getting along, and then something about them spraying stuff in the air and people arguing, and I'll have to find that in a little bit.
You know, when I was a kid, I used to see these trails in the sky all the time, and so, oh, that's cool. A jet just went over. And then you started to see a whole bunch of them. And the next thing you know, everybody in your neighborhood was fighting and arguing, and you didn't know why. Okay, and you really didn't know why. I mean, everybody was fighting, you know.
So yeah, that's a video that I was talking about.
years ago, but still today, it remains one of the most popular conspiracy theories in the world. And finally, we have the 5G conspiracy, where people believe that the 5G electromagnetic frequencies from cell towers have the ability to undermine the immune system or control minds. The idea that
The 5G, I do think it's probably bad for people. And I think that'll eventually come out like in the future. Just because I feel like stuff hasn't been out long enough to know the repercussions, the fucking negatives of that type of stuff. I do think it causes like harm to the body in some way.
First of all, I didn't even know Kevin was as successful as he was.
There are big realms, spiritual realms. There's good, there's evil, and they are slugging it out for the souls of mankind. And my question is, why are we even important? Little old flawed humanity, why are we important in that process? And I think there's bigger things at play here. It's not linear. It's hard to understand. So it's gotta be put in a framework where you answer a few other questions as well. And you have to juxtapose the event itself against everything else so that it makes some kind of sense in a bigger picture, which is a hard thing to do. And it took my brother and I and a guy called Randall Wallace, took us 6-7 years to write it. I regard the Gospels as history. It's verifiable history. Some people say, oh, it's a fairy tale. He never existed, but he did. There are other accounts, verifiable historical accounts outside the biblical ones that also bear this up. Who gets back up 3 days later after he gets murdered in public under his own power?
I'm not really a believer in the Bible. I do think it was made almost as like a instruction manual for people. And I think it's mainly a lot of metaphors and stuff like that. And I believe in Jesus, but I don't think he was like this white Jesus that's commonly portrayed everywhere. And then I believe in God, but I'm just not one of those people that take the Bible literal, if that makes sense.
Buddha didn't do that shit.
Right.
You know, so all the evangelists, the apostles who went out there, every single one of those guys died rather than deny their belief. And nobody dies for a lie. Nobody.
Right.
So that's part of what I'm doing. It's like,
I mean, I feel like a lot of people in the army die for a lie, so I don't know about that part.
knowing nobody dies for a lie. As a child, one accepts things on faith because, you know, you're raised by people who are nice to you and they believe it. I was born into a Catholic family. I'm very Christian in my beliefs, you know. So I do actually believe this stuff to the full. And my dad was a pretty smart guy. He was like Mensa smart, you know, like real smart. Back in 1968, he won Jeopardy. And then they brought all the Jeopardy winners back and he played all the winners and he beat all of them too. So he had a mind like a steel trap. His memory was practically photographic. As a child, you learn these things and you accept them on faith. And I still have that faith, but as I got older, I came to it through intellect and through reading and putting things together in accounts. And then occurrences. I mean, just recently they verified the Shroud of Turin. It depicts a first century Hebrew male because the hairstyle was from the first century, that he was about 6 feet tall, that he was
My bad. My 4-year-old son came and tapped me on the shoulder because he knows I'm recording a video, so he didn't want to talk. He needed some assistance on something.
He was completely scourged all over his body, beaten. The wounds on the thorns, the hands, the feet, the pollens that they found in the cloth were from that region. Also, the weave was a first century weave, but they have now verified that it does actually go back to that time period.
They don't know what caused the image itself and how that technology would have even been available.
It wasn't, no.
A couple thousand years ago.
An intense light, I mean, atomic, to leave almost like a photographic imprint on a piece of cloth.
Yeah, that shroud is pretty crazy. about having the image of Jesus once he resurrected. They think um, like pretty much a light so powerful like burned his image onto that piece of cloth when he resurrected. And it's kind of looking like a lot of this stuff is getting proven, like the date, where it came from, stuff like that. So I think more about that will come out in the future.
You're not.
Well, I don't think this is conspiracy related, so I'm about to skip to the next one. But I do think Prince was very intelligent and he knew a lot of stuff, and that's why he got packed up.
I got a question you've probably never heard before. That's
quite a statement.
Oh yeah.
Products that got discontinued for solving the problem. Number 1, the Forever flashlight. In 2002, Applied Innovative Technologies introduced a flashlight that needed no battery.
Yeah, this happens a lot. Like, I watched like a short documentary about light bulbs and how all of these light bulb companies had a meeting and got together to agreed to make all of their light bulbs weaker so people would have to buy more because their light bulbs were so good that they were lasting too long and they were losing a lot of money. So I do think they do that with a lot of stuff.
You shook it to generate power using electromagnetic induction. No replacements, no waste. After early success, the company faced sudden supply and manufacturing problems. The patent was sold. The product vanished. The idea worked. The business model didn't. Number 2, the indestructible charging cable. In 2014, Fuse Chicken created a steel-armored phone cable built to survive extreme bending and stress. It came with a lifetime warranty. Most cables fail at the connector. This one didn't. Retailers slowly stopped stocking it. The cable industry relies on frequent replacements. A cable that never breaks threatens that cycle. Number 3, lifetime mufflers. In the 1950s, some auto shops sold mufflers with lifetime guarantees. They were made of heavy stainless steel and superior welds. Unlike regular mufflers, they didn't rust out after a few years. Customers bought one and never came back. The shops expected repeat business. Instead, they sold a product that refused to fail. By the 1960s, most stores quietly ended the offer. A perfect muffler was bad for profits. Products that got discontinued.
I mean, I understand all of this from a business standpoint, but at the same time, it just sucks realizing that we could have a possible life where all of this stuff would exist. Like people would put the needs for convenience and products and stuff like that. They would put that type of stuff over money. So it just kind of sucks realizing that we could have a life with light bulbs that last forever, or the cure for cancer and stuff like that. But people are just greedy, so it sucks. But that's just kind of how life is right now.
When someone insults you, remember this.
My name is Dr. Jared Cooney Horvath. I'm a former teacher turned cognitive neuroscientist who focuses on human learning. And I do not receive funding, nor have I ever, from big tech. So a sad fact our generation has to face is this. Our kids are less cognitively capable than we were at their age. Every generation has outperformed their parents, and that's exactly what we want. We want sharper kids. And the reason for this largely has been school. Each generation spends more time in school. We use school to develop our cognition until Gen Z. Gen Z is the first generation in modern history to underperform us on basically every cognitive measure we have, from basic attention to memory to literacy to numeracy to executive functioning to even general IQ, even though they go to more school than we did. So why? What happened? What happened around 2010 that decoupled schooling from cognitive development? It can't be school. Schools basically look the same. It can't be biology. This hasn't had enough time to change. The answer appears to be the tools we are using within schools to drive that learning. Across 80 countries, as Gene was just saying, if you look at the data, once countries adopt digital technology widely in schools, performance goes down significantly, to the point where kids who use computers about 5 hours per day in school for learning purposes will score over 2/3 of a standard deviation less than kids who rarely or never touch tech at school. And that's across 80 countries. Bring it home to the US. Let's go to the US. We have our NAEP. That's our big data. Take any state, and here's a fun experiment you can try. Take any state NAEP data, compare that to when that state adopted one-to-one technology widely, and watch what happens. The NAEP data will plateau and then start to drop. And of course, this is all correlative. What we really want is causative. To get causation, what you need is academic research and you need mechanisms, explanations for why we're seeing what we're seeing. Luckily, we have academic research stretching back to 1962 that shows the exact same story for 60 years. When tech enters education, learning goes down. In fact, because what do kids do on computers? They skim. So rather than determining what do we want our children to do and gearing education towards that, we are redefining education to better suit the tool. That's not progress, that is surrender. My name is Dr. Jerry.
Yeah, I think there's a few factors on that. I do believe it's food and lifestyle and stuff like that. On the technology part, I feel like he was saying, kids that learn through the tablets and stuff like that at school, they're like skimming through stuff where we had to handwrite it. They wrote it up on the board and we had to figure it out like that. And it's like at my job, if I'm learning something new, if they show me a video of how to do something, I'm not going to learn it as good as if they actually put the stuff in front of me and I had to do it by hand and in person and stuff like that. I think it's just easier to learn hands-on than watching someone else do it. And then also, I believe stuff is just set up for the next generation to be not as smart and more depressed. Everything's just so fucked up. I think it starts at home. Like, luckily, I have three healthy boys and they all do good in school, like A's and B's. And I think it's a lot easier because I'm the only one that works, so my wife is at home with them. She can spend more time with them. Whereas like a lot of households nowadays, everybody needs money so much that either both parents are working, so the kids are watching themselves, or a lot of single mothers and they have to work like one or two jobs, so their kids are left with a babysitter or just at home with themselves and playing video games and stuff like that. I think the whole system is fucked up and it's hard to correct it because it kind of all starts with money. Like, if you had to work two or three part-time jobs or a full-time job and a part-time job, it just makes it a lot harder to spend time with your kids and for them to copy like your knowledge and mannerisms and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. That'll be it for today. I'm gonna go check on my youngest son real quick. Peace.